The moment you lose your patience, the moment you shut down, the moment you say something you regret, that moment didn't come out of nowhere. It was built by 1,000 unnoticed emotional choices. And today we're going to expose them. Emotional intelligence isn't something you practice in a classroom or a meditation retreat. It shows up in the messy, unpredictable, beautifully complicated parts of everyday life. It shows up when your child melts down in the grocery store, when your partner misreads your tone, when a coworker pushes your buttons, when you're exhausted but still expected to show up, when you're triggered by something small but feel something big. EQ is not theory. EQ is daily survival. This chapter is about how emotional intelligence works in the real world, where it matters most. The modern world is an emotional pressure cooker. Most people don't realize how many emotional decisions they make before noon. You navigate interruptions, expectations, disappointments, misunderstandings, overstimulation, comparison, emotional labor, and the weight of other people's needs, all while trying to hold yourself together. We live in a world that demands emotional maturity, but rarely teaches it. That's why EQ becomes the quiet superpower that separates chaos from clarity. The micro-moments where EQ lives. Emotional intelligence doesn't show up in big speeches or dramatic breakthroughs. It shows up in micro-moments, the tiny choices that shape your relationships and your identity. Moments like choosing to pause instead of snapping, asking a question instead of assuming, noticing your tone before it sharpens, recognizing when you're overwhelmed, stepping away instead of escalating, offering empathy instead of judgment. These small choices create emotional safety for you and for the people around you. The 3 areas where EQ transforms daily life. Let's break this down into 3 real-world arenas: relationships, work and leadership, self-management. Each one is a battlefield of emotional triggers and a playground for emotional growth. 1. Relationships, the emotional echo. Every relationship has an emotional echo. Your tone becomes someone else's mood. Your reaction becomes their reaction. Your emotional state sets the temperature of the room. EQ helps you listen without defending, speak without attacking, repair quickly, set boundaries without guilt, understand the emotion beneath the behavior. When you practice emotional intelligence, you stop reacting to the surface and start responding to the truth underneath. 2. Work and leadership, the power of emotional presence. In the workplace, EQ is often the difference between tension and trust. Emotionally intelligent people communicate clearly, stay steady under pressure, navigate conflict without escalating, read the room, adapt their approach, and create psychological safety. People don't follow titles. They follow emotional presence. EQ is what makes people feel safe enough to collaborate, innovate, and speak honestly. 3. Self-management, the internal environment. Your emotional life is an environment you live in every day. EQ helps you understand your triggers, manage your stress, regulate your nervous system, choose healthier interpretations, protect your energy, recover faster from emotional overload. When you master your internal world, the external world becomes easier to navigate. The practical side of EQ, simple daily habits. Here are small, practical habits that build emotional intelligence in everyday life. The 5-second pause before responding. Naming the emotion instead of acting on it. Asking, what's the real need here? Choosing tone before choosing words. Taking a breath before taking a stance. Repairing quickly after conflict. Noticing the story you're telling yourself. These habits don't require perfection. They require intention. The emotional feedback loop. Every emotional choice you make creates a loop. Your behavior shapes the moment, which shapes the relationship, and shapes your future interactions. EQ helps you break unhealthy loops and create healthier ones. The heart of this chapter. Emotional intelligence is not about being calm all the time. It's about being conscious. It's about choosing responses that align with your values instead of your impulses. It's about becoming the person you feel proud of, even in difficult moments. The emotional ripple effect. Your emotional intelligence affects everyone around you. When you regulate your emotions, you help others regulate theirs. When you communicate clearly, others feel safe. When you listen deeply, others feel valued. When you stay grounded, others feel calmer. When you respond with empathy, others feel understood. EQ is contagious. Your emotional presence becomes a model for others. If Chapter 3 showed you how emotional intelligence works in the real world, the next chapter will show you something even more powerful: how to bounce back when life hits harder than you expected. In the next audiobook release, we're diving into the emotional resilience practices that separate people who break from people who rise. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, defeated, or stretched to your limit, Chapter 4 will give you the tools to rebuild your strength from the inside out. Get ready. The next chapter isn't just information, it's transformation. In the full book, we go deeper into emotional boundaries, conflict patterns, communication styles, emotional labor, the psychology of triggers, how to repair relationships, how to stay steady when others are losing themselves, and how to build emotional safety in your home and workplace. This chapter is only the beginning. To explore the full depth of EQ in everyday life, scan the QR code or visit the Amazon link to secure your copy in the description below. EQ, Emotional Intelligence in the Age of Overwhelm. Your emotional life deserves the full toolkit. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I look forward to speaking with you in the next chapter. Feel free to share some of your real-life experience about emotional intelligence in the comments below.